Today I'm going to show you how I cut wine bottles using a bottle cutter that you can purchase from a craft store for about $15 to $20. I have found that this is really the only method that works well for cutting bottles. I have tried the acetone and string method that I've seen on the internet in many videos, and I have not been successful with that at all. And I have been doing stained glass for many years and have all different methods for cutting glass, but a round surface of a bottle is a big challenge. So I'm going to use a bottle cutter, I'm going to use some candles, and an ice bath to do this process today. Okay, this is the bottle cutter that I told you about that you can get from the craft store. And I'm going to first line it up with where I want my score line to go on my bottle. So I'm going to adjust it, and I'll do it a little bit lower than where I cut the last bottle. And I want my green handled cutter here at the bottom to pretty much be perpendicular with my bottle once I get everything adjusted. So this is going to spin in the top of the bottle, the little cork shaped or cone shaped piece, and my cutter is going to go against my bottle and spin all the way around and make a continuous score line all the way around the bottle. Now for regular glass, you use a glass cutter like this. And I tried using that on a round surface, it just did not work. It works great for flat glass, but not for round. So you really need this little jig. And I'm going to dip the wheel of my glass cutter tool, which is actually a scoring tool. All it does is scratch the surface of the bottle. You don't try to cut through. I get that wet with some oil, and I'm going to spin all the way around the bottle just to lubricate the area where my score line is going to go. And I'm going to repeat that just to get a little bit more oil on there. Okay, now I'm ready to go. And what I want you to listen for, and hopefully you can pick it up on video, is the difference in the sound the glass makes once my cutter has made it all the way around the bottle. So now I'm going to hold my bottle, press my cutter against the bottle, and spin. Hear that little bit of a grinding sort of sound? It's very uniform as I press and turn. Oh, see, that's where I finished the whole circle, and it made that different, much coarser, rougher sound. So now I've got a full line all the way around my bottle, and I'm just going to make a couple of marks here to show where that score line is at, and it'll make it a little bit easier for when I'm putting it into the candle flames to see where I want to heat the bottle up. Oh, and I forgot to mention, always do wear safety glasses. I'm wearing them right now, and it is critical because you are cutting glass, and accidents can happen. So I prefer using 2 and sometimes 3 candles with the largest flame that I can get. It might have dropped a little bit here since I lit these candles, but I think it's going to be still adequate. And the main thing is you want to get your candles to cover as much of the curvature of the glass bottle as you can, because you want to just as evenly as possible heat that glass as quickly and as hot as you can before you take it over to the ice bath. So I'm going to get my bottle here. I can see above, I can see the flame below, and I can see where my lines are at. And so I just get my bottle down in there as best I can. Sometimes you'll see a little soot kind of deposit on the line where you've got your candles coming through. I can't really judge right now how close I am to the flame, but sometimes if you're doing well, you'll actually hear a little bit of a crack happen. You're just trying to grow the crack, is what it's called, through the bottle. It keeps getting larger and larger as you stress it with the heat and then the cold. So I've got this pretty hot now. I've spun around 2 or 3 times. I'm going to take it over to my ice bath. I'm going to drop it in. And this is just snow from outside and some cold water. And it doesn't look like it's going to break this time, but I'm going to use a cloth just to kind of wipe it off. There, I have been cut with some shards from the scoring line, but I can see that it is developing there. So I'm going to go back to my candle and do another time and repeat that as much as I need to, and then dropping it in the water to stress that crack. Repeating the candle here, and I heard a little crack there. I don't know if you could, but I heard a little crack happening. Sometimes the bottle will fall off right here while I'm doing it. It's always a surprise when it does break. Usually it breaks in the water though, but you never know. Okay, and I'm going to take it over, and take it over, and take it over, and take it over. So I'm starting with a clean, empty wine bottle, and the label has been removed, particularly in the area where I'm going to cut. And then what looks like a pretty typical glass cutter with a little wheel that scores the glass at the bottom that will press against the bottle. Hear that sound difference? I just made it all the way around. So I'll take a couple of spins around the bottle. Okay, my bottle's hot. I'm going to drop it in the ice water. Okay, so I'm repeating, going over to the flame here. And I don't know if you heard that, but I did hear a little bit of a crack. And that's a really good sign that my crack is growing in my bottle. And the extreme difference of hot to cold is going to force that crack to expand and get bigger until my bottle breaks. So I'm going to run over to my... Whoop! It broke just like that. It's always a surprise. But it provided a nice clean break. And I'm going to use my grinder to grind it down, or I can use the sandpaper that came with my box or my glass cutter and smooth this out a little bit, and it will make for some great craft projects. Okay, and as your last step, what you can do is use some water with the special sandpaper. I think it might actually be garnet paper that they provide with your bottle cutter. And take the bottle and just spin it against that paper to kind of take off the edge, any roughness along your cut. So it's just a little bit easier to handle it once you're done. And I'm going to try to make some candles out of these. But one thing to also remember that you don't see on the internet either is that for the candle to keep burning, you are going to need some little hole near the bottoms for air to flow from the bottom up through the top to kind of allow it to act as a chimney like a fireplace would be. So you could put this on some sort of shim to keep it up just a little bit on your table. I'm going to actually grind a couple of little edges or little half circles to allow that airflow and keep my candle going. Thanks for watching and enjoy your cut glass bottles.